Hello ladies, I'd like to show you what I do when I have the pattern part that you cut from one piece of fabric. And I do have some tools here. You can see I tape my pieces, so I use Scotch tape. Scotch tape is just a brand, you can use any tape. I do have a small rotary cutter. I love to use the Alpha cutter with a 28mm blade. This is a new blade, so it's extremely sharp. I have a big scissor, not to cut them, but to cut next to it, so I have a little bit extra space to maneuver. I use a small ruler for the straight lines. That is important as well. I have markers. I use a white marker for my darker fabrics, and I have a pencil or a pen for the lighter fabrics. And I have a tiny scissor, and as you can see, we do have a lot of markings, and they are important because they are a big help when you assemble the pieces together. But you also can see I already cut little V's in my template, not in your fabric. I have seen that in my classes. So the little scissor is for the little V's in the template. So shall we start? When you tape your pieces onto the fabric, we do have the straight grains. And it doesn't matter if you use it lengthwise or widthwise, the straight grain is important. We have a lot of bias, so it is a necessity for us to take advantage of that as well. I use my scissor, and when I do that, I can cut it roughly from the piece. So I have a little bit of extra space to maneuver. I take this away. Now I take my rotary cutter, I open it, and I will stabilize the piece with my fingers. And as you can see, there is a little bit of extra paper next to the lines, and for me it is important because when I cut my templates from the newsprint sheets, I always cut it a smidge from the outside, and for me the reason is I can work so much more precise because I can put the blade exactly on the line. Now I turn it because it makes it a little bit easier for me. And again, I use my fingers to stabilize the piece. And I cut it exactly with my rotary cutter on the line. And in the beginning, maybe you say, whoa, I've never done that. That looks very scary. Believe me, it is not. It is much more precise. And the final result will be so much better. And again, put your blade exactly on the line. Stabilize the piece with your fingers. And that small rotary cutter is such a big help for you. Okay, before I cut my final piece, I use a little bit of Scotch tape to tape the piece onto my cutting mat. And the reason it will shift because there's nothing that holds it. So now I can go on and I can cut the final line. I think this is the one. So here you can see we do have a perfect piece with perfect curves, a perfect seam allowance, and the only thing we have to do is use the white marker because we have a darker fabric and we can bring the marks onto the fabric. So a little bit of preparation before you can go on. You can see we have access to the marks, and now I can take the template, and even these little marks, they are not important because I know there will be a seam, so that will be a mark as well. It's the same here. So now I take it off, and here you can see we do have a perfect piece without any problem. It has the perfect shape. We take advantage of the straight grains of the fabric, so we do have the bias we need for all the curves. We bring the marks onto the fabric and have easy access to everything. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope that it will help you in the future to make a beautiful BeColourful quilt.